So, some of you have seen that I've been raising money to go on a week-long meditation retreat in a couple weeks. And I thought it would be a good time maybe to make a meditation instructional video where I can just show you what this meditation thing is that I'm talking about constantly on Twitter. So, if you want to grab a pillow or a cushion or folded up blanket or anything else that might be comfortable for you to sit on, I can guide you through 10 minutes of mindfulness meditation. This is a specific type of meditation. I think when we talk about meditation, we're often talking about a lot of different practices. This is called shamatha meditation, and shamatha in Sanskrit translates loosely to peaceful abiding. So it's a practice that it settles the mind so that you can look deeply at your experience. But this is the practice of settling your mind. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but telling yourself to stop thinking doesn't really work, right? That's kind of the easiest way to make your mind explode with what we Buddhists might call a proliferation of thoughts. You don't need to be Buddhist to meditate. You could be an atheist or of any variety of religious faiths. This is just a technique that can help settle your mind. And it has lots of other innumerable benefits as well. But I think a lot of people come to meditation hoping that they can reach some kind of peace or stillness. And I think that this is a very easy thing that you could do 5 minutes a day that is a practice or a form of training or cultivation that can get you there if you want to commit to it as a practice. So I kind of think of it as there's that moment where we go, oh, where was I? And we notice that we've kind of spaced out. And I think that is awareness, and that's what we're kind of building here. So mindfulness is our capacity to come back to the object of our meditation, because our mind always has an object, right? We're always conscious of something. So in this particular technique, we're making the object of our meditation is the physical feeling of the breath in the body. So that physical feeling of the breath is going to be our anchor, our kind of touchstone that we can keep coming back to. And you're not doing it wrong if you have thoughts. You will always have thoughts. This is about noticing the thoughts and touching them gently and then returning to the breath. And it's kind of the back and forth between the thought, noticing the thought, and coming back to the breath that helps you build this mindfulness muscle that we all have the capacity to build. You're not really learning or adding anything. You're not really learning anything new or adding anything. This is, our mind has a natural capability to be mindful. We're just kind of uncovering that. So yeah, so let's just do 10 minutes of it. Let's start with coming into what I've heard many teachers refer to as an alert posture. You don't need to hold your body super rigidly, and you don't need to be uncomfortable. So if anything it's too uncomfortable to sit cross-legged on a cushion, you can stick your legs out. You can even sit in a chair. I think the main point is to feel grounded and supported, and also to feel alert, because if you're slumping, since this is a practice that kind of syncs up your mind and your body, if you're slumping, then your mind's going to get tired. So come into an alert posture and start to bring your attention to the physical body. You can start by feeling your seat connected to the floor. I like to think of it as being grounded, kind of like a root vegetable. I really like beets. I think of myself as a beet in some really nourishing soil, very grounded and supported. You can do a quick body scan and just start to come up through your seat, your legs, your back, any place you might feel a little bit of tension. You can kind of bring your attention there and, as my yoga teacher friends would say, breathe into it. Kind of see if you can relax it a little bit. But you don't need to judge yourself for feeling pain or discomfort or tension. You just want to notice it. Begin to bring your attention up your spine. So you can relax your shoulders a little bit. I tend to place my hands palm down on top of my legs. So any tension in the neck, see if you're holding your jaw very rigidly. So you can relax your face. Just feel your body. And now we can take the next minute to check in with ourselves, see what the texture of our mind is like right now. How do we feel right now? What are we bringing to the seat at this particular moment? And there's no wrong way to go into it. You just want to notice. This is a practice of noticing, so we're beginning to notice. Let's just check in with yourself for a minute. And so I'll ring a bell that hopefully you can hear. And when I do, when you hear the bell, you can begin to shift your focus to the felt sensation of the breath in the body. You might feel it in your nose or your throat, or the rise and fall of your chest, but wherever you feel your breath, you're going to gently place your mind on that. And when thoughts come up, as they inevitably will, it's not a problem. You're just going to notice them, notice the thoughts, and then return to the breath. So just find your breath. It can help to feel kind of genuinely curious about your breath. Just noticing. And when your mind begins to wander and thoughts arise, just touch them gently and then return to that feeling of the breath in the body. You don't need to push the thoughts away. You don't need to follow them and get hooked in. You have the capacity just to notice the thoughts and then turn back to the breath. If you're distracted by physical sensations or sounds, you're going to treat them the same way that you treat your thoughts. You're just going to acknowledge them and then return to the breath. They're not a problem. They can be a reminder to come back to the physical feeling of the breath. So it's just a practice of noticing. And bringing ourselves back to the breath. You're not doing it wrong if you have thoughts. That's part of the process. It's also just part of being a person. You don't need to stop the thoughts, we're just changing our relationship to them. We're zooming out a little bit. Not zoning out, but zooming out. Beginning to see the bigger picture. you find yourself completely pulled out of the present moment, you can gently and in your most non-judgmental voice label it thinking before you return to the breath. Maybe you've been completely pulled out of it. You're thinking about a grocery list, you're remembering something that happened last night. Either way, if you've completely lost your awareness of the physical body in the present moment, you just gently label it thinking and then return to the breath. You're not doing it wrong if that happens. You're not bad at meditating. You're just going to notice and then return to the breath. What is your breath like from minute to minute? What is it to breathe? Just noticing the breath. You don't have to hold on to it too rigidly, you're just noticing. The breath is your anchor here. You can always turn back to it. You don't need to make yourself breathe any special way. You're just coming back to the breath. And it can always be your anchor whether you're meditating or not. You space out, it's okay. It's not a problem. You just come back to the breath. This is less of a guided meditation and more of a way to teach you to guide yourself. You're seeing what comes up and acknowledging it and accommodating it, and then coming back to the breath. Just cultivating your ability to notice. You're cultivating awareness. When you do that, by noticing when thoughts arise and then coming back to the physical sensation of the breath in the body. We've got 1 more minute left, so really see if you can challenge yourself to commit to following the breath, just noticing. Just gently following the breath. So that was 10 minutes of mindfulness meditation. I'd like to thank you for trying that out with me. And if you have any questions, you can email me or post in the comments, and I will try to answer any questions you have about this basic mindfulness practice and how you might be able to uh, work it into your life every day, because I think that's when it's most beneficial, when we do it regularly. So again, thank you. I'd like to close with a vow of gratitude to you guys for sharing this with me. Yeah, thank you.